I wanted to go live today. I wanted to talk a little bit about not knowing what you're doing. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people every day. I talk to people who want to be creative. I talk to people who want to start businesses. I talk to people that are in businesses. I talk to people that are ahead of where I am, light years ahead of where I am. And I talk to people that are all the way back at the beginning. And the thing that occurs to me is that in pretty much every stage of that spectrum, every part of that spectrum, no matter where you're at, we have this idea that you should know what you're doing, right? It's a basic expectation of competency, right? If you're going to be a brain surgeon and you're going to operate on my brain, this treasure, this jewel, if you're going to operate on this, the moneymaker, then you should know what you're doing. Of course, that makes sense. It makes absolutely every bit of sense in the world. But here's the thing that everybody misses. Or not everybody, but many people miss. Okay? You can absolutely know what you're doing, but you are not going to always know what you're doing. And in fact, in pretty much every stage of your life, you are going to vacillate between two very different phases of your life. Okay, you're going to be sometimes in a phase where everything is firing on all cylinders. You know your work or your creative process front to back. You know who your clients are. You know who your audience is. You know what you're meant to do, and you are just crushing it. And then you're going to vacillate into a phase where you don't know that anymore. You're not sure what's next. You're not sure what you're doing. You're not sure who the audience is. You're not sure what you're doing this for. And everybody goes back and forth. You don't go through one and then end up in the other and then you're done. Good example of this is like, let's say, imagine the last time you were in like a project you were really passionate about. You're working on something you think is important. It could be a piece of artwork. It could be something in business or whatever. It's fulfilling to you. It's important to you and you're crushing it. And then you have the success that you've been working for, that you've been striving for. The project is over. And then the question is, what's next? It's always what's next, right? We're all on the same treadmill, right? It's only over when you're dead. So assuming that you're still alive, the question is, what's next? And every time you get to that question, every time you ask yourself what's next, you got to come up with something. You can't do the exact same thing. Can't put out the same album twice in a row. Can't start the same business twice in a row. That business already exists. You already went from 0 to 1. Now you're back to 0. Now what do you do? So if you're in a phase where you don't know what's going on and you don't know what you're doing and you're not sure what the point is, that is the point. You're in the phase where you don't know what you're doing. The goal is to slowly transition into this other one. But the thing to remember is you need both. You can't just have one or the other. You need both. You're always going to go through both. I'm in a phase like that right now. I'm doing these lives. I'm sure you've noticed. If you're watching this right now, you probably see my face pop up a bunch of times. What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know. I've got one thing you can buy. It's like $60, right? I'm not even going to tell you where it is. So I'm not trying to sell it to you, right? I've got a mailing list, but I don't sell anything there either. I do these lives. I'm not really sure who they're to. I don't know who you are. I don't have like a persona for you. I don't have an avatar for you. I'm just talking to you because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing it. But I know that I am called to do it in some way. I know I enjoy doing it. And I trust in the process. Because here's the thing. If you don't know what you're doing, if you do something, what happens? You get some kind of feedback. It either goes well or it doesn't. It's either successful or it isn't. People like it or they don't. You sell something or you don't. You get a yes or a no. You feel good or you feel bad. You always get feedback, even when you don't know what you're doing. And every piece of feedback is a little building block. You say, now I know that. Now I know that this worked. And it's not the whole thing yet, but it's a little piece. And every time you do it, you get another little piece, and you get another little piece, or you learn that something doesn't work and you take that piece out. And slowly but surely, you start to know what you're doing again. The people who know what they're doing, they didn't get there. They weren't born knowing it. Nobody's born knowing what the hell they're supposed to do. No one's born knowing how they're going to get to the place they want to get to. You just kind of got to start doing something. And slowly but surely, you get the feedback. And slowly but surely, each little brick you put in the wall until finally you have a sense of what you're doing and who it's for and why it matters. So if you feel like you're in this phase where you don't know what's going on, and you're not sure why you're doing what you're doing, and it's kind of like it's all amorphous, the best thing you can do, the absolute best thing you can do is to get out of your head and just start doing something. Anything. And every time you do that anything, you learn the tiniest little bit. You gain the tiniest little bit of competency. You gain the tiniest little bit of knowledge about who you are and what works and why it works and why you're doing what you're doing. And then one day you're going to wake up and you're going to go to do this thing you have been doing, whatever it is, and you are going to sit down and you are going to know it like the back of your own hand. And then you can say, now I'm in phase 2. And when you get to phase 2, you enjoy it because you know sooner or later, everybody ends up back in phase 1. I hope that makes sense. I love you. BetterQuestionsEmail.com is my email list. Jump on it. You should. Talk to you soon. Bye.